Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy April Fool's Day. Actually, I was going to release today. I realized the bad timing of it. I had finally done at least part one of my assessment of that grounding box that I'd featured in a prior video and have been trying to get around to. And all I've been able to do is some really primitive basic testing at this point. And I had done about a 20-minute video just to cover one little aspect. So don't go crazy. I'm going to have multiple parts eventually, but I was going to release it on April Fool's Day until I made the connection. And that video, whenever you do these grounding boxes or anything that has much more subjective improvements and nothing that you can hang your hat on in terms of measurements, although I do show something I was able to quasi measure, but I decided not to release it on April Fool's Day because people would probably just add fuel to the fire. And already my last video with the Rockport stuff creates often controversy. So pivoting to what I wanted to talk about today that would be less crazy on April Fool's is a preview of Axpona, which is coming up. And I've got so much travel planned. I'm going to see the Gorillas at Coachella the week after Axpona. I'm glad it didn't conflict. So this is going to be a crazy travel month. Hard to get a lot of videos out, although with Axpona, it's doubly problematic because now that I'm a home dealer for the Theoretica Applied Physics Bacch stuff, and I've been doing demos, weekly and selling quite a few of them, that I'm going to spend a lot of time at Axpona in the Theoretica Applied room, helping Edgar. If he needs to take breaks, I'll do demos and talk to people about my firsthand experiences from a different perspective than, obviously Edgar, who can get into the weeds. I can talk to you about more of first as a customer and then why I became a dealer and all the anecdotal things that I've found and used it for on top of the spatial cues and intraoral crosstalk. So be sure to come by Theoretic Applied Physics at Axpona and say hi to me if I'm in there or if you see me anywhere around. I'm actually going to crowdsource some of my coverage this year. I like to go in every room. Axpona is just too big to cover every single room, even if I wasn't going to spend time in the Theoretic Applied Physics room. But one of the things I'm going to do is crowdsource it with members of my channel. I am going to deputize them and give them access to my YouTube to upload as same thing I do. Go into rooms and just share, almost quasi streaming what goes on in there. And again, that's my kind of niche at these shows, giving you almost real time what it's like to be there and seeing things firsthand without causing disruption to the room, making them close down the room, making it all about me or anything like that. It's all about, just showing you as if you were there, giving you that streaming style of coverage. So a few of my friends and members in the channel are going to be actually doing that as well. So this will be the first show we do that. It's such a big show. You need that kind of coverage to get every room. But what I wanted to do in this video is give you a preview of brands that I don't see all that much at shows, because this is one of the bigger shows and ones that I definitely myself will go into and want to check out, because you want to kind of have a game plan when you go to shows like this, because it's so big that you may not, or you may miss things if you don't do a little bit of homework ahead of time and know what you want to see. So I put them down on a piece of paper. Let me grab it here. I usually just do these kind of videos, stream of conscious. Now, right off the bat, a lot of people that you see featured on my channel are going to have rooms or demos at Axpona. So if you want to meet firsthand, Rex, the electrician, Audiophile electrician, King Rex Electric is going to be there. I think Wally Tools and Kirmus are always there, so you could meet them. Of course, the Coras and the MBLs that I feature at every show, those guys are going to be there. YG, also Estalon in particular, I've featured them in the past. I've had interviews with Alyssa. They are debuting their Estalon Extreme Mark II. First time is going to be in America, and you can hear that. And I'm going to a special press-only debut of that. And a friend of mine has already ordered one. Probably going to have serial number 1 for, or at least the first one in North America. So I'm excited to see and hear those, because those are exceptional speakers. But so much like Acura at the last show, Estalon is releasing their new state-of-the-art, cost no object, no holds barred speaker. So you may want to check that out. But what other brands, other than what you've seen on the show and go to all the other coverages, did I piqued my interest that I've seen over 30, 40 years going to these shows that I want to make sure I visit at Axpona? So let me just go down the list here. One brand that I saw a couple years ago at the Long Beach The Home Entertainment Show was Audiovector. And they make these very high-end speakers that they even have a grounding post in the back. Innovative driver complement, and how it's nothing, just another cabinet, coffin cabinet with drivers sticking out the front. It's much more sophisticated than that. The sound quality was exceptional in Long Beach, and I really liked everything about the Audiovector room at that time, and they are going to be at Expo. I haven't seen them since then, so definitely want to check out the Audiovector room, and I encourage you, because this is going to be one of the rare chances to see them. I don't see them at every show. Another one, I did check them out last year. I was really excited about the Bays audio, the technology. They almost look like a big paper clip with a tube and an omnidirectional driver. I gotta say, last year they brought the smaller model, and it didn't wow me as much as my expectations were and what I had heard about them. But you never want to make, categoric judgments on show conditions and one quick, visit to the room. And at this show, you probably only have a chance to go to these rooms one time if you want to see everything. So I'm going to spend a little more time with the Bays audio this year, digest more songs, hopefully get the sweet spot longer, and get a better impression of that one, because it's an intriguing design. I've heard a lot of good things about. Want to give that one another a chance. Now, a company that I rarely see is CEC. They used to make all these transports for CD players that were very well regarded, belt drive. Don't see that brand all that often. They used to be so big and so well known as the standard for that particular purpose, but they have a bunch of other electronics. I'm interested to see what's going on at CEC. So may not be something, obviously transports are not the biggest sellers nowadays, but just being a legacy brand in the hobby that is at this show, I want to see what's going on there. So I marked it down as one for me to take a look at. You may enjoy it as well. Danville Signal Processing. This was a company that I went into that had the Linkwits as their demo speakers, and then they have their own crossovers and DSP that was extremely well built, extremely impressive, and I only saw them at Axpona last year, so you don't see them at most of these other shows. So this is a limited chance to get to see them. I think at some point they had a circle on Audio Circle, a forum there. I don't know. I got to talk to them a lot more. I want to get a little better idea of how you buy their product. In fact, Doug, my friend who you've seen in a lot of these videos, was reaching out to them to buy it, but it was even hard to get in touch with them and put them, even buy the product from them. So I want to get in touch with them, see what's going on, what they've got new. It was impressive last year, and me being a DSP fan, active crossovers, all the things that they're doing was intriguing to me. Another one is Jansen Speakers, because that's what Edgar has always used in his Theoretica Applied Physics demos with the Bach. Now, he also uses Sanders speakers at his home, and unfortunately, Sanders isn't going to be at the show, but Jansen, the more you research about David Jansen and the whole legacy of the Jansen family in speaker design, you realize this guy's right up there with Andrew Jones, if not bigger in terms of legacy and what they've been able to accomplish and design. The Jansen family gets overlooked, but as Edgar has found with their quality of the speakers, and again, you can do active and passive models. They're very cost effective for high end and perform beautifully. And then they did a KLH9 revisit and renovation to that legacy design that a lot of people enjoyed, but it had some trade-offs that, as technology and parts and all that advance over the years, sometimes you can revisit these designs that had trade-offs and now redesign them such that they don't have those trade-offs. So I want to definitely hear that if they have that KLH9 revisit like they did last year. SB Acoustics is listed as a demo. I don't know what they're doing, if it's just going to be static displays, but I'm very impressed with their drivers. And almost wished in some of my reviews of these that Danny would use SB Acoustics over Peerless. But of course, it's not as easy as just swapping them out. Even just the binding posts, are going to be different, but the crossover would have to be redesigned, all those things. But SB Acoustics, in terms of driver quality and all the speakers that I've heard them in, and when they're implemented right, is a really impressive driver company. So I want to see and dive in a little more with those, because again, people that are in the do-it-yourself community and doing active crossovers and can do some things with fixed drivers and build their own cabinets, it might be a brand you want to look at. Another brand that is going to be there is Techniques. And the reason I put that on my list is because the Techniques is super underrated. People think of Techniques as mid-fire, and they think of the big department stores where the rack systems used to be. It's not like that when they come to these shows. They bring extremely high-end electronics, and their speakers are one of the best values. If you can get past the fact it says Techniques on it and you close your eyes, you're going to think you're listening to just as good as the Acoras, YGs, all that, in terms of full range performance, beautiful cabinet design. The sound quality is exceptional at any price, but definitely the value is there with that Techniques reference speaker. And I featured it in many videos on my channel, so you can just search Techniques and you could probably even hear some music clips and how it compares favorably to even more expensive speakers. Then on the flip side, budget-wise, I always like to try to find those, and the MoFi has been one of the best in the past year for reasonable budget, but even cheaper budget. A lot of people overlook this company called Vanatu. And again, you can only do so much with small speakers in terms of just the physics of it. But when you're listening at modest volume, you have a kid that's going to college, going to be in a dorm room, a little office system, the quality of sound to price and everything with Vanatu, that I still think is high end. You can nitpick, not full range, this, that, and the other. But really, when you look at the price to performance ratio, it's extremely good. So if you're in that budget range, like we all, at some point start somewhere, that would be a good brand to look at to start with. That most of them even come active and very easy to hook up and very easy to place. Another company very excited to see is Von Gaylord. Now, this was a company I think I even put, or I said I should have put, in my list of, I did a video a while back of the best brands that do it all, like from speakers to electronics, source material, like MBL, and there's a lot of other ones that do it all. Ari Surratt, PBN, all these companies that can do everything, create an entire system for you. Well, Von Gaylord is right up there. Their electronics and speakers have been in and out of the show scene, and I've always been impressed with what they do. Both aesthetically, it just resonates with me in terms of tube equipment, and then sound quality-wise, there's always just been a level of purity and high-level performance that I've enjoyed every time I've heard them. And so to see them on the exhibitor list is definitely one that I wanted to check off, make sure I visit. It may be a brand that you're not familiar with and you may pass it over. So that's why I'm telling you that now, so that you don't miss that, because at least my experience over the years has been it's a really good room. And then, as I spoke, I'm going to be releasing this video on the grounding box that was sent to me. And that grounding box will be at Axpona. It's going to be in the room that's labeled Robert Doe. he's going to have, I think, Airy Surratt gear and acoustic cabling and even the power conditioner, I think, that you've seen me use. But I think he's bringing these grounding box to use in the room. And so, as I'll say in that video, when I'm evaluating certain aspects of it in part one, you're going to be able to see that grounding box at Axpona in that room. And best thing to do with these controversial products is A/B it yourself. Doesn't matter what I say or think, or even what measurements say. At the end of the day, if you hear a difference and you have good experience with grounding boxes in the past, this is a grounding box you're going to want to try. So make sure you go in there, look for that grounding box, and maybe ask Robert to do an A/B demo for you either during the show or after hours. It's very hard to do A/B demos at shows. The noise floor and all these things are tough, but if it's something you're genuinely interested in, reach out to him or reach out to me. I can put you in touch with him. Maybe you can do something after hours. So hopefully you enjoyed this little preview of Axpona. I'll probably do another one closer to kickoff with anything else that I've noted before going. But make sure you say hi if you see me there. And I'll see you back here soon.